Hi, it's Gary from PoolSupplies.com, and today we're going to go over closing an above ground pool. Okay, we're going to test the water in preparation for closing the pool. You want to make sure that your levels are in line. That will ensure, hopefully, that you open with a clean pool, clear pool next year. You want to make sure that when you're putting the dipstick in, that you're putting it in roughly about elbow deep, about 30 seconds. Bringing the dipstick out of the water and matching it to the canister itself for the measurement of the pH, the alkalinity, and your chlorine. When adding chemicals to the pool, you want to make sure that you have a bucket of water first, and then pouring the chemical into the water, stirring it, ensuring that it's dissolved. And when you're ready, then go ahead and pour it into the pool. You can pour it around or pour it near the return if the water level is up, that you can circulate it through. Otherwise, you can just kind of walk it around, pour it in, and kind of splash the water a little bit to kind of swirl it. Winterizing your pump and filter. Essentially what you want to do is make sure that you've taken out the drain plugs from the pump. If it doesn't have drain plugs, usually the pump is screwed down to a base platform. You can take those screws out, take the hoses off of it, and simply pick the pump up, turn it upside down, let it drain out. At that time then you're all set. You might want to rinse it out a little bit. This basket especially, maybe some hair, lint, or bugs in there. Once you do that, just make sure you store it in a dry, cool area out of the freezing elements. As far as the filter, you can go ahead and take the drain plug out of it. You do want to make sure that the top of the valve, the handle itself, is put into an open position, essentially just by taking the handle, pressing it down, and turning it over to one of the little tabs and leaving it there, and that will allow air to pass through it and help the ease of draining the tank. The valve itself, you could take that off and again take that into a non-freezing zone. The tank itself, you could leave it out once it's drained. Normally just take a piece of tarp or say a large size garbage bag, cover it up, and you're all set for the season for that. The next step would be to prep the pool for putting a winter cover on, and you'd want to use like a submersible pump, lowering the water level below the skimmer about 4 to 6 inches. This will do is give you some room for expansion of ice and snow if you're in a snow zone or freeze zone. Then once you've done that, you can go ahead and put your cover on. When you're putting the cover on, normally you're using an air pillow. Air pillow would be dependent upon the size of your pool, whether you're using a 4x4, a 4x8, or a 4x15. You can place that air pillow in the center of the pool, either tying it in place. Most air pillows have grommets on them, or there are products on the market. It's a little Velcro sticker where you put it one piece on the pillow, one piece on the cover, and then you can go ahead and put the cover on the pool. Once you put the cover on the pool, you would use the cable and turnbuckle, also known as a winch. You would run the cable through the grommets. Most covers have grommets 2 together, about every 3 to 4 feet apart for above ground rounds or ovals. You'd weave that cable through those. Once you get around all the way around the pool perimeter, then you would go ahead and insert the cable into the turnbuckle. And then once you start twisting the turnbuckle itself, that will start tightening up that cable holding the winter cover in place. A leaf net cover can come handy if you live in a wooded area or a lot of leaves on the property. A leaf net cover will do is capture the leaves before they fall into your pool cover, ultimately making a mucky mess. The leaves will fall on the leaf net cover, and then hopefully they will blow away. If they don't, once the fall has ended, you can easily remove it, and removing it before the first snowfall, as this cover cannot withstand the weight of ice and snow. Other accessories you may want on hand is going to be a return plug. Return plug is going to plug off the return line so that when you remove the filter hose, the water will not continue to drain out of the pool. You may want cover clips. Cover clips are used in high wind areas, helps also secure the cover to the pool, along with another product called Winter Cover Seal. It's like a shrink wrap material, also good for high wind areas. Also on hand might be a cover pump. The use of a cover pump will allow you to keep the cover maintained, keeping the water on top of it down. You don't want all the water to accumulate on there. You might want a little bit if you have a windy area or something like that. But most of it, for ease of opening, pump off as much as you can. Keeping it down also makes the cover last longer. Also handy would be the use of a compensator. What this does is it plugs the skimmer. There are also products called a skimmer plug. What these do is allow for water conservation or water restricted areas to not have to drain the water below the skimmer for winterizing. Or if you live in a area where it doesn't freeze, these are also helpful that you don't have to drain any water out for winterizing. Thank you for joining us today. This is Gary from PoolSupplies.com. Join us next week for more Pool Pro Tips by Gary on winter closing. Please check the description for links to the products used in this video. If you have any questions for me, please email support@poolsupplies.com.